Excuse me. All right. Hello. Good afternoon. It is 2 o'clock Eastern. And this is Dawn Reeby from Excellence today. Come on in. Let me know that you are here joining in. We're talking about public speaking for analysts. Really making sure that your message gets delivered with excellence. So who is here? I see Michelle is here. Hey, Michelle, how are you today? Good to see you. I see Alexis is popping in. A bunch of you are joining on in. Let me know in the chat that you are here live with us today. We have some really cool things going on. Hey, Ria, I see you. You are here. Who else is here with us today? It's fantastic. Beautiful day. It was pouring outside earlier today, and now it is just beautiful. We have a very special guest for us who's coming on in just a couple of minutes. Good afternoon, Caroline. Glad that you are here. We have a very special guest who's coming on board with us in just a little bit to talk to us about how we can have confidence in speaking in law enforcement. Really, what that means, specific tips and tricks that we can, implement as we are speaking. What are the things that we can do to feel comfortable, to feel confident, to feel like we know what we're talking about. So we can use this in Compstat. We can use this sitting at a desk, right? Talking with someone. I was just talking with an FBI agent today. Earlier today, we were presenting on automation down in Massachusetts, and and really about what the impact is that we make as law enforcement analysts and supervisors. Hey, Becky. And I was talking with an FBI agent analyst today who really climbed the ranks in FBI analytics and open source data and has done a tremendous job. And as part of her requirement for going into her agency, they actually had to sit and deliver presentations. Like, that was their training, that they had to deliver presentations one-on-one with somebody, as well as to a large range of people. Because as analysts, we often think that we have to be stuck in the information, and there's a lot that we want to make sure that we know in that space, and we do a lot of training around that. But really, how do we deliver and disseminate key recommendations relative to deployment strategies, relative to using proactive information? And the FBI agent was really talking about how she had to do just that, how her training involved her sitting, they gave her a word, right? And the training involved her sitting with that word and having to, deliver some language around it. My windows are open behind me, so you can see my curtains are flying open here. But I want to invite Annie to come on board and share with us her key tips to ensuring that we are delivering excellence, not only in our analytics, but in the proclamation, in the declaration, in the recommendation piece, in the dissemination piece of what we do. How to talk at roll call, how to talk at command staff meetings, how to talk at regional events, how to talk one-on-one with somebody and really get the message across quite well. So if you're joining us here live, in the chat, I want you to type the word Annie, so she knows that Annie Doyle is our guest speaker today. So type in Annie so that she knows that you are happy and excited that she is here joining on in. And if you are listening to the replay, go ahead and type a replay so that we know that you are here listening to the great work that Annie is sharing with us. So Ria says, yes, the FBI made us do that during the Intel class. We had to talk for 2 minutes on a super random topic. Yeah, exactly. Like, thinking about, if I gave you the word, bar, right? If I gave you the word bar, what could you really say about this bar? What could you say about this bar, right? And so that's what the FBI does. They want to really make sure that you are equipped to have conversations and deliver yourself with excellence to the community. So I'm gonna invite Annie to come on in. Let us know that you are here, Annie, and I will go ahead and get you on in here. So we will be screen to screen over here. Let me see if I can do it this way. Let's see. I cannot do it this way, Annie, as I don't see you on there. So Caroline, if you don't mind tagging Annie and getting her on in here so she knows where we are I know she was having a little trouble finding us just a moment ago. She had sent me a message. So, oh, good, you are here. So, Annie, press the button that says, get me to join on in, and then I'll go ahead and invite you on in so you can be here with me and we can have this discussion. Yes, who is ready to rock and roll? If you're here listening to the replay, then go ahead and type in replay so that we know that you also want to deliver your great work with conviction, with confidence, with excellence. So Annie, go ahead, request to come on in, and I will click a button on my end to get you on in here. Let's see if I can do it on. Yeah, I can't do it on my end, Annie. You're gonna have to do it on your end, and my finger's probably right in front of you guys, huh? Sorry about that. Okay. If you are on a phone, Annie, that's the way to get here. If you're on your computer, you might not be able to press that button. So Annie, get yourself on a phone so you can go ahead and press that button and we can get you on in here, okay? And so for the rest of you, what are we talking about today? We are talking about how to deliver with your voice, right? How to deliver with your voice, how to publicly speak with confidence, even when you don't exactly know what you're talking about, right? How to deliver confident messages. And so Rhea said too, when she was in an FBI class, that's exactly what they had her do. They said something random like oil, and you had to talk about oils, in a very, very executing kind of way. And so whatever the conversation is, you want to have these key skills to deliver your message. When someone asks you, what do you do in law enforcement analytics, you want to be able to deliver that impact statement quickly, efficiently, and comprehensively so that everybody knows what you do. So if I would ask you right now, what do you do? The answer is not Compstat or bulletins or reports. The answer really is that you provide actionable reporting so that your detectives can succeed. And you do that through suspect identification and so forth. So Annie's popping in. I could see her blurb going like this. So that means she is almost here with us today, and she's going to share with us tips and tricks on how to be the best public speaker as possible. All right. Hey, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Caroline says, my professor for finance class always cold calls us in class. If you don't sound confident, he keeps trying until you say it with gusto. Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's really wonderful. So Annie, I see that you were setting up your phone.
Yes, I'm sorry. I did not realize I had to be on my phone. So I'm going to do like the rookie mistake and I'm going to set up now. So
You're good. Take a
hold on one second, you guys.
Take a moment to set up. It's okay. We have some important announcements to share here, right? So for those of you who know, we have something really special going on. October 21st, something so special going on. We have our first analyst book coming out on October 21st. So from 1 to 3 p.m., that book is going to be on major sale. It's going to be 99 cents, and you get a slew of other things with that book. In fact, I'm still working on some special opt-ins right now. You're going to get, one of the opt-ins I'm working on is a portfolio template. So I have 4 clients right now who are working on portfolios. And so I'm like, why reinvent the wheel? I'm just going to build out a template so that everybody here can use it. And that's going to be one of the free gifts that you get with that book purchase on October 21st. And so if you are like, October 21st at 1 o'clock is in my calendar, go ahead and type in October 21st. Yes, Ria, we got the portfolio coming. A template, I just built it out yesterday, and so we have that coming to you. And then we also have analyst mantras. We have a process evaluation sheet that you can use. We have like a whole package of goodies. I'm also going to be partnering with many other people, between half a dozen and a dozen others at this point. Kyle Richards, it certainly is. We're going to be partnering with other folks too who are going to be giving away a ton of things as well. So that 1 to 3 p.m. is super exciting. Yes, Sadie, October 21st, get it in your calendars. 1 p.m. We're going to be on my personal page. We're going to be on this Facebook page. We're going to be in LinkedIn. We're going to be in all kinds of places sharing the one link that's going to get you access to everything for 99 cents. The book, the ebook, I should say, as well as a bunch of other things. So we're really excited about October 21st. this weekend we completed the last of the edits. My eyes are starting to open up again, so that's really good. And Annie is going to pop on in here again. So let's get you on here, Annie. I'm pressing the button to get you on in. Yes, Steve, we are missing you. Absolutely. All right, there we go.
I am so sorry about that.
You are fine. You are good. Welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. And Miss Annie Doyle, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome. How's everybody doing today? How are you doing, Miss Dawn?
I'm good. I actually just got back from Massachusetts. I did a presentation to the Massachusetts Association of Crime Analysts on how to create impact as analysts. And so it was wonderful because we haven't seen each other in over a year with COVID. And it was wonderful to air hug folks in our big, huge room, 6 feet apart. It's quite wonderful.
Isn't that crazy? We have to learn how to be human beings again. Because now, like, oh my gosh, I get to see you and actually hug you. It's amazing. And no masks for the most part, anyway.
Exactly. Welcome, Alex. Welcome, Caroline. Now, I know that you, Annie, might not be able to see the comments, so I'm going to kind of, jump in when we have some great feedback for you or questions for you. But let's get right into it. You are a public speaking specialist.
Yeah.
So you help people what? What do you help people
do? I help people learn how to talk, but it's not just learning how to talk. It's really getting your genius zone moving, right? Because you have to understand anybody can talk. Let's learn how to speak. Let's learn that speaking is amazing. Let's redefine public speaking, because a lot of times people look at public speaking as this horrible thing. Like this is the #1 phobia. People are more afraid of speaking than they are of dying. I mean, that's a problem. Think about how many times somebody will call in sick and say, I don't want to do this, because they know they got to get up and talk in front of people. So let's redefine that, and let's really have fun with it, because public speaking is amazing.
We're going to have some fun with that today. Before we dive into our great advice that you have for this crew here, let these guys know who are the types of people that you work with. What are the results that they see after working with you?
Awesome. So I work a lot with women mainly, but I work a lot too with college students. And I like to say people, because women are mainly my focus, because I like to have women realize that they have strength behind their voice. And the reason why I say that is because I'm in a martial art. And being in that martial art, I am a 3rd-degree brown belt within the Helson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu system. I know, I'm going to be the first female black belt out of that school. And what's really interesting is, from that and other experiences that I've had, I've noticed that women need a voice, and we sometimes just don't give ourselves a voice. So that's really kind of the people that I work with. But at the same time, I'm also a college professor. I work with a lot of students, and I look at things like, okay, well, what is it that these kids need to learn how to say? Because they come in, I can tell you, they all come into this class like, I don't want to be here. And then they leave like, oh my God, this is great. Because we redefine what's going on. So public speaking in and of itself, my mission, whether it is with my female clients or anyone I speak with, is to understand that public speaking is everywhere and public speaking is amazing. And let's take that phobia away, because it's not all about the one-to-many. It's all about the one-to-one. It's how you can impact your audience.
And I think you brought up a couple of good points here, because, a lot of folks who are here are law enforcement, right? And so there's ranking systems in law enforcement where you can talk to, like, if you're an officer, you talk to your sergeant before you talk to this person. And so a lot of times, I'll see an officer who's afraid to talk to a chief, or who is afraid to talk to a captain because they don't want to step on anyone's toes, or, and then we also have analysts in this group, in law enforcement and military analysts, who they're, 90% of their role is behind a desk, and they're so timid and shy about getting to the front, to the front of the game, really, and sharing their results, right? So these analysts, they'll study a crime pattern, or they'll study a crash pattern, and they'll have some really good ideas of where we can create the greatest impact, but they will kind of mouse themselves or sit in the back of a conference table because they're afraid of sounding silly, or they're afraid of, who's going to take me seriously, and that kind of thing. So I can't wait. I can't wait for us to share the tips that you have in mind relative to these kind of groups of people. We also have lieutenants here, captains here, chiefs here as well, who they are rising in leadership or have risen, right? And they want to sound as professional and as amazing as possible in a group, but also in that one-to-one setting of that can often be awkward. So let's get to it. What's the number one thing that you think that folks in this profession can do to build their confidence around speaking?
So first of all, remember, confidence is a journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people say, guys, that person had to have been born with it. Absolutely not. Confidence is a journey. It's just like everything else in life. We learn as we go, right? Now, congratulations to people who are ranking up. Congratulations to those who are really making a difference in not only their lives, but also the lives of other people. And especially this group of people. I mean, you all do things that probably a lot of us don't have the guts to even step out the door doing. So first of all, you got to understand that you are part of an elite group of people that stood up and said, I will be that person, right? So you have to have confidence behind that. And confidence, it comes in so many different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember you belong there. So Dawn, you brought up a few things about, first of all, let's talk about people who are not in law enforcement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I completely understand the ranking systems because I've been working in this martial arts world for about 10 years now, right? I was also a figure skater. So I went from being a figure skater to a martial artist. I don't even know if I can call myself a martial artist yet, but you know what though? I was on either side of that. So let's go. I can speak all the different languages. I work with a lot of police officers as well, right? And respect is something that's earned. Respect is something that you have that rank, you're respected at that rank, but what really gets you is how you interact with people. So first of all, you have to remember anytime that you speak in public, you belong there. Don't ever think you do not.
Mm-hmm.
So analysts, we're going to talk analysts first, okay? And then I'm going to go up.
Yeah.
Analysts, you are like the lifeblood. Understand that, okay? Understand what you have to say is going to change a lot of lives. So don't think that you got to sit in the corner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You sit at that table.
These analysts, they know, they're in the data, they know the information, they've done the work. Yes, Becky, you belong there.
You belong
so
there.
If any analyst right now is like, ugh, I don't even know if I provide value, I don't even know if I belong there, Becky's right, you belong there. I wanted to get back to one of the first things that you said though. Kyle says, more than a seat at the table, you are informing the table. Exactly. You belong there. You are an essential component. And the sooner, Annie's really saying, the sooner you recognize this, the more confident you will become. But I wanted to get back to something you said, that confidence is learned, right? This is so true. Now, I don't think you guys are going to believe this about Dawn Reby. I have a twin sister, right? And she was the outgoing one. I was the quiet, shy one. And I remember standing behind a building being like, you go, you tell that, you do that. I was so shy. I didn't talk to anybody when I was a little kid. And now look at it. So I love that you said it can be learned. It's something that you can learn. So your number one thing is you belong there. Got it. Love it. Go.
Yeah, you belong. Yeah. Remember, you have your own genius zone. And genius zone is so different for everybody. Right? If you're an analyst, there's a reason why you're there. You've got information that even the highest of the chief, everything, they need to know this stuff. Because in order for them to do their job, you are giving them that information to do their job. So don't think because I'm not that rank, we're all people, right? We are all people. We respect the rank that people are. You definitely never lose that, especially in this world. You never lose that. But what you want to make sure is the respect that you give is what is the respect that you'll earn. And by showing that not only are you on top of your game, but you're also making them look better. You are giving them that chance. And that's the big thing. When you are speaking, it doesn't matter who's in the room. What matters is how are you helping those people in the room? Because I hate to tell you guys, it's not about you as the presenter. It's about your audience. So get it out of your head that it's about you. I mean, I always say, it's all about me, girl, right? But, but it's not about you. And as much as it's hard to get in that mind frame, remember, it's not. You're the one that has that information. You are that expert right now. So when you start thinking about, okay, I shouldn't be breathing the same air, stop it. Because if you don't breathe the same air, you're going to suffocate and die. Okay? I hate to tell you, like, don't hold your breath. Like, when I was figure skating, you had to get through the levels by testing, right? My my first coach, her name was Baiba. She was Lithuanian. She was actually slated to go to the Olympics, but because of the turmoil in her country, she couldn't. So she immigrated to the United States, and I was one of her first students. I never breathed during like my programs. So you'd have Baiba on the background, breathe, breathe. So think Baiba and have breathe in your head because she's cheering you on, right? So remember, one, confidence is a journey. Guys, remember, confidence is a journey, but you belong there. And every time you start self-talking and giving yourself that encouragement, that is going to make you sound that much better, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Two, it's not about you, it's about your audience.
So I'm going to pause you there for a second. You belong there. That's so critical. And it's about, the second component is it's about your audience, not about you. I was at an analyst, that meeting today, that conference, like a monthly meeting today. And there was this analyst who said, you know, I have 6 different detectives working on 6 different cases, and the cases are all related. And one of the detectives, and so she wanted the cases reassigned so that one detective would work with those things, but the lieutenant wouldn't allow for that for some reason, right? So she was kind of like throwing her hands up. And, you know, so we went around the room and we said, what else could you do as the CEO of Crime Analysis? What else could you do to promote provide value, to recognize your audience, right? And so the detective in the room, you know, who was sitting there was like, I want my life to be easier, not harder. So another analyst reached out and said, you, the analyst, make a meeting and tell everybody you guys are all working the same case, and if we put our heads together, we'll work faster. And so that just that reminds me of what you're talking about right here, which is forget about the way it looks, the way it feels, like all of that. Get to the value component, which is, you know, uniting these 6 detectives on this one particular case that's part of a series for the purposes of reducing the amount of work that they're all doing individually and putting the heads together and possibly pawning some of the cases off on other detectives. But that value piece, recognizing that we as analysts, as CEOs of analytics, we provide value, and we have to figure out how to continue to provide value. So David, congratulations to you. Your first experience in public speaking is a nightmare. Yeah, but you made it. You made it, and you
David,
it's, even though it's hard, it probably is worth experiencing as a shy person. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Ooh. So you have 2 good ones that you put on the table, Annie. That confidence is something that you learn. That you are of value. You are so you're really talking about mindset. You're not even talking about verbal. You're not talking about clothing.
We haven't gotten there yet, girl. Mindset. Yeah, we haven't gotten to verbal or clothing yet. But here's the other thing. So yeah, that's mindset, right? So yeah, I like the mindset. So there's so much more that goes into it, and you know, I was born talking to a wall. So I always thought it was easy to talk to people. And I finally found the job that I'm not getting yelled at for talking too much, right? Which I love. But I realized this isn't what everybody can do very well. And that's why my mission is to help as many people as I can realize that there's actually confidence behind them and authenticity, because you want to be authentic to yourself. Don't try and be like somebody else. Like we're gonna know your nonverbals. Right? We are going to know, we can tell, remember those spidey senses. We can tell if someone's not being authentic, right? Yeah. We know that. And, you know, here's the other big thing too. If you ever see somebody saying, I can take fear and anxiety away from you, run for the hills, because fear and anxiety, those are instincts, my friends. Those don't go away. Those are survival instincts. I will teach you how to use them. Because think about it, when I look at it, think of jujitsu. I don't know if anybody here knows about jujitsu or anything. And if you do, put like a, yeah, heck yeah, man. Because if you are, I'd love it because I love the jujitsu community. But jujitsu is a martial art where it's really a grappling sport. And what happens is, and what I tell everyone whenever they come in, we are going to strip down everything you think you know. Your mind is going to be like, wait a minute, this is not right. And then we're going to build you back up again, right? Same thing with public speaking. Think about it. You have these preconceived notions that the fear and anxiety all of a sudden now are going to latch onto. And now you're going to look at it like, oh my God, I can't do this. You're going to start hyperventilating. You're going to start doing it because fear and anxiety are trying to protect you right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then the adrenaline starts happening.
So let's give you folks who are here live and in the replay a chance to chime in. What's the biggest fear you have right now? What's the biggest fear you have right now with public speaking? Or, you know, for Dave, maybe when you were first public speaking, what was that big fear that you have? And maybe Annie can help walk us through how to squash that.
Yes. I love it.
All right. And so when they type that in, I'm going to chime in, but you keep on going.
I unfortunately can't see you all, but yes, I am going to go back and read all these comments and hopefully I can answer for everyone. So please know you all have a voice that I want to listen to. So also remember, so fear and anxiety, okay, let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about why they're there, because they're instincts. They are there to help you survive, right? Because believe it or not, we are animals in the animal kingdom. We just have, you know, a brain that we're able to use. Yeah. And also remember, we have complicated language. And so as we've progressed, we still have animal instincts, and that's one of them. So how do you look at fear and anxiety? Start thinking about fear and anxiety and how are you going to use that? That can help you increase your game, right? When you feel you're speaking. So here, let's talk about speaking here really fast because I'm going to keep that fear and anxiety on the undertone, right? And here, how do we deal with that? We never want to mess up, especially when we're in front of people that are either our boss or quote unquote important people, okay? First of all, remember the important people have stresses of their own. Important people.
So true, so true.
Right?
Yes, yes.
They're not robots.
And Kyle says one of his big fears is answering a question with "I don't know."
Ah,
yeah.
You said Kyle said that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God, Kyle! It's okay to say that. Do you know how many times I'm not a human encyclopedia or any of that stuff? I don't try to be, right? So if you don't know something, if you've established that respect already and showing that you're on top of your game, because you probably are, what I want you to do is say, you know what? I don't know that answer right now. Give me 2 days. If they need it right then and there, say, give me a minute. We will get an answer for you. Don't let someone pressure you, but also say, for the integrity of the information I'm giving you, I want to make sure that it's correct, done well, and I can vet it. You want to have that confidence behind saying, especially if it's someone, because remember, we're going to get a lot of pressure, right? There's a lot of pressure of, okay, if I open my mouth, now these questions are going to come. Am I going to be able to answer them?
Yeah, yeah.
You might not.
And so let's pause on that for a second, because I know that there's been instances where I've been at an oval table meeting with a bunch of chiefs, or with a command staff presenting to folks, and they'll say, what about X, Y, and Z? And I'll say to them, and Kyle, here's exactly what I say. So if you want language, like grab Annie's language that she just said, and I'm going to give you some more. Here's exactly what I say. I say, that's a really good question. I'm not positive on what the answer is, but I'm going to get it to you by the end of the day today. Does that work for you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so I put it back in their court. I don't know so if they're just like, so some things they'll say, well, why are burglaries down 17%? That number doesn't make sense. And this number is here. And I say, you know what? That's a good question. And like Annie said, I'm going to steal this from Annie. In order, I want to be confident about the number that I do give to you, or the reason, or whatever it is that I do give to you. So give me to the end of the day today. I'll come find you. Does that work for you? And so by saying like, does that work for you? They're just like, yeah, I guess it does work for me. So go ahead, Annie.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect, because I think we're all human. And you have to remember, so here's another way that you can kind of make sure you prepare for that. Always know going in, always have more information than what you're going to be talking about, right? So especially if you've been doing this for a while, understand that, there might be other questions. These meetings, these people that you're going to be going with, right? Also, here's the other thing. If you have someone else who's a great expert in the room and you know that maybe I can't answer that, but this person might, we're going to have two scenarios that kind of come into this. Don't make it sound like you're throwing somebody else under the bus, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
We don't want to do that, okay?
No, ma'am.
But what you want to do is you want to say, okay, so, I don't really know that answer, but, Dawn Reeby here, she really actually has great intelligence into this. I know she's been to a conference. Dawn, I hope you don't mind. Would you be able to answer that? If not, maybe Dawn and I can meet offline. Let us discuss, and then we can go that. So here's where two things are going to happen at that point. One, you're acknowledging that maybe I don't know the answer, but I will find it out for you. And two, you're building up another person here too. Because remember, especially in the community that you're in, you want to build a community. And
yeah, absolutely.
You always want to use time. You always want to use things that when you don't have an idea or you don't have an answer, you never say, I don't know, right?
Or get defensive, right?
Or get defensive and be like, gosh, that person's just like, oh God. Like, guys, we're not in grade school anymore, okay?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And you're
adult thing's hard.
About, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, fine. It's fine. Adult thing's hard, okay? Let's get that. I get that, right? Sometimes I don't want to be an adult either, but gosh darn it, I got to get up and I got to put my big girl pants on and we got to go. So you have to remember, public speaking is all about, I am that person who knows what's going on. I am that expert when I'm talking. There's probably always going to be a bigger fish in the room. There's always a bigger fish, so one of my big things is that I talk about women's self-defense as a keynote. I talk about women and finding their voice and understanding that women having a voice benefits everything. And it's not negating to any other gender, but that's what I talk about. But when the minute I bring up a martial art, like those who are in different martial arts, all of a sudden, bam, that's what they think about. So what I do is I make sure I use language that shows I have respect for other martial arts, but I don't know a lot about those martial arts. I'm willing to talk about it, but today we're talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because that's the martial art that I'm in, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So do you see how you can control that conversation? You can control a conversation just by making sure you're mentioning right away, hey, you know what? It's okay. And it's okay not to know everything.
Exactly.
And also, sorry, go ahead. I get on a roll, you guys. So like,
you're on a roll. Rhea says, I'm scared of not finding the necessary words or tripping over them, even though I've never spoken before. I have a good tip for you. I'm going to share in a second, Rhea. Superhuman. Yes, exactly. Having English as my second language does kind of stink. Yeah, that could be a challenge.
Yes. No.
So Rhea, one of the tips that I'm going to interject here that kind of is playing off of what Annie said already was walk in with more knowledge than you're going to deliver, right? So like if you're presenting Compstat, you should not have 50,000 slides, right? What you have is a couple of slides and the knowledge. But what I always do is I have 4 major things that I want to talk about or 3 major things that I want to talk about, right? And I know those 3 things inside and out. And so it's kind of like a job interview. Like someone's going to always ask you, what if you failed at, or what was your weakness, or what, I have these kind of generic, these 3 concepts that I want to talk about. So if someone says, something that doesn't necessarily, like, I don't know necessarily much about it, and I'm afraid that I'm going to get tripped up, I say, I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to write it down. And I might clarify, are you specifically looking for, and then I write it down. Then I go back to one of my 3 things that I'm talking about so that I know that I have 3 pointers to come back to that I'm talking about. And then, yeah, exactly. And then the other thing for those who are public speaking, how many of you have given IACA presentations, right? IACA presentations where you're presenting maybe at your conference or something, and you're presenting out to a group of people. Yeah. So so Annie, you might have some advice on this. I'll tell you, I have the anchor tip. Do you know about the anchor tip, Annie?
No, tell me. Like, I'm
Oh,
excited. Like,
oh, I love this tip. This has helped me out of so many public speaking pinches. I can't wait to share it. And then I want to hear some more of your tips, or they want to hear some more of your tips too. But the anchor tip, you have someone in the far left-hand corner of the room. You have someone in the far right-hand corner of the room. You have someone in the front left-hand corner of the room and the front right-hand corner of the room. And they're kind of this box, right? And I get to know them. Yeah, this is the secret sauce, Michelle. And I get to know those 4 anchors ahead of time before I'm giving the presentation. So I'll walk over and I'll say, hey, Annie, what agency do you work for? What kind of work do you do? Do you have any dogs? Do you have any cat? Like, whatever. She wants to talk about her pet, parakeets, and that's what we talk about, right? And so I have these 4 anchors. So then when it comes to presenting, I'm looking into the eyes of these 4 people, right? I'm rotating throughout the room and I'm saying, Annie, isn't that very similar to you and your parrot situation, or whatever it might be, parakeet or whatever we talked about, right? Yeah, exactly, Michelle, anchor. So when you go deliver at a Compstat meeting, or when you deliver a keynote presentation, or when you're delivering a training to somebody, or any kind of public speaking, I thought anchor, like anchor in a place they don't move. Yeah, no, that's what it is. No, I'm not anchored. They're anchored. So I have my rooms, so I can look across and I can see a familiar face, connect, and like know what I talked about with that person in advance. And the same thing over here, and over here. This way I'm not standing at my podium, like looking like, is anyone paying attention to me? Exactly. So that's the anchor secret for those of you who are presenting, who are training, who are doing things like that, where you know the 4 anchors, right? Someone these 2 people right in the front, on the left and right, and then 2 people right in the back, left and right. Getting to know those 4 people. That's it. You only got to know 4 names. Mm-hmm. And when you're presenting, you say, so Annie, you talked about working at your police agency, tell us about, you engage the group because you remember only 4 names, and it works like a charm. It's wonderful. Yeah. So Annie, what else do you have? What other tips do you have for these guys?
I love that. And what I want to do is add on to that is, especially when you know your audience. Now, this is so funny because a lot of my training that I do is we go through everything, right? The trainings that I do is we go through like literally you as a speaker, audience, all that stuff, how to prepare for it. So I'm sorry, I'm like squeezing this all into one, but understanding and having eye contact is super important. And you want to make sure, so I love the anchor idea, but here's the thing I want you to make sure you're doing though, because especially for people who are new at speaking, what's going to happen is you need to get used to moving your eyes around. Don't just stare at it and be like, Dawn, do you remember how you told me that thing? Remember? And then, oh my gosh. And then you go to Dave, oh my gosh. Like, you don't want to make these people all of a sudden turn red because what happens is we're getting so nervous because we want to know that person, right? So I love what you're saying. Just make sure when you're doing that, you're not going, hey, do you remember that? And and they're like, oh my God. So
that would be sneaky.
So remember, you want to make sure, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you want to make sure you do eye contact, but make sure that it's natural. And you're going to get used to doing that, right? Especially in person. Online, it's different, but online, there's a way to do that too. So I love the anchor method. I might steal that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'll quote you though.
I love it. I stole it from someone and I can't remember who. It might be Lisa Nichols. But all joking aside, public speaking, I mean, Rhea talked about anxiety, like hyperventilating, all of the joking aside, the value that we provide is so valuable. And if we really struggle with the public speaking side of things, Annie is a professional public speaking coach. So she can walk you through, how to be the best presenter, right? How to, how to deliver your message with excellence, how to get through some of the fears, how to get past some of the stuttering and some of the challenges in speaking, how to stop saying, I think you even have a link for us around the ums, right?
I do. You know what? I knew this was going to be something people were going to ask about, so I figured let's just give it to you. And I might actually be updating that because here's the big thing with filler words really fast. Guys, remember, silence is your friend. Silence is your friend. Sometimes too, silence can be kind of one of those like, ooh, what is so-and-so trying to say, right? Silence is your friend. When you start saying, no, I don't know, so why? That's when the nervousness starts happening and you start to derail yourself. Remember, you're there for a reason. We want to hear from you. The audience actually is supporting you, whether it's a one-to-one or one-to-many. As an audience member, I am looking at you like, hey, you know what? This person has some information I need. Let me make sure I'm writing it down. And especially when you're online, sometimes on the online space, it's hard because like for right now, Dawn, all I see is you. I can't see everybody else. And even for a professional speaker, that's hard sometimes. But a lot of you are in person. Look how people are reacting. Now, granted, sometimes, especially law enforcement, you've got people who have been trained years in law enforcement to show no emotion, right?
Stone cold, yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
I love those people because I'm like, I know internally you like me and you're going to like me. And it's when you see their eyes or their gateway, you can see them with like being like, okay, cool, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
remember, if you lose your place, it's okay. Because honestly, we don't have a full write-out for what you're saying. You know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you're never messing up. You're giving us information. So say you've got like a pamphlet, right, of all the information that you want them to know. And you can even start your speech, and you can even start your presentation saying, listen, we've got about 50 pages here. I'm just kind of guessing right now, right? We've got 50 pages of information. We're going to go over the most important pieces. And if we need to dive deeper, we will. But I'm not going to read.
Oh, I love that. Annie, hold on. I love that. Like, that is something that I think every analyst can use, every lieutenant, supervisor, chief can use. So I'm going to ask you to repeat that one little section. You have 100 pages or like, a bunch of slides or a book that you're presenting on, like a manual, like maybe 15 pages, whatever. And you walk in and you start your presentation with, hey, we got all kinds of information in here. I have 3 main points that I want to deliver to you. If we have time and you have questions, we'll dig deeper into certain areas. But these are the 3 main things that we're going to walk through together. That's brilliant, exactly. Danny. I'm stealing that one.
Yes, I'm glad. So, but because here's the thing, remember, especially people in your arena, right? Time is money, money is time. They probably, especially some of these big leaders, right? Their books are full. You need to give them the highlights. You need to give them things that I need you to know this, right? It's like you will like me kind of a thing, right? You need to know this. And there is more information. We will dive deeper. Or you can even say, listen, this is probably a process that we might need to meet again because, everybody loves meetings. But you can even say, I gave you all the information, read at your leisure. And then after you're able to digest this information, if we need to come back, we will. But understand, I have these 3 things. Also, when you're using your visual aids, like a PowerPoint or a Prezi or Google Slides or whatever you're using, which, by the way, there's a method for those too, but we don't have time. We'd be here all day. But make sure that you're putting the information that you want to resonate with your people, right? So if there's a statistic or if there's a certain thing, put that on the PowerPoint, let them see it. I want you all on these comments to say, I promise I will never read from a PowerPoint again. I want to see everybody writing that. I will never read from a PowerPoint again. That is not presenting, right?
Exactly. And recognizing that you're not coming, like, always, one of the words that I always try to instill in our analysts and even on our captain and lieutenant level is impact. What's the impact that you want to deliver? And you have all kinds of people writing there. I promise I will never read from PowerPoint again.
Thank you.
So, you always want to be thinking about impact. If you were talking about Z-score and statistical significance and p-values, nobody cares.
I'm going to
get that out. Right?
I'm going to sleep.
Right.
and
create the impact. What are the results that you want folks to achieve? And I'll give you an example. So if you're in front of your command staff at a Compstat meeting and you see, this increase in a certain amount of activity, you might say something like, there is an increase, chief, this is what you want to know. There's an increase in this activity, let's say burglaries. Specifically, it's commercial burglaries. I did a study of the commercial burglaries and found that it was concentrated in this particular area. I also looked at outside information and realized that these two suspects who are known for this activity have been committing this in the past, and they're potentially someone to look at. I recommend the following. Did you hear that? I recommend the following, right? Extra deployment between 0300 and 0500 hours, a daytime shift chat, maybe with all the business owners that, that we're telling them of what's going on to lock up extra at night. These two people are on probation. My third recommendation is that we talk to their probation officers and get a sense of how they're doing. Like, it is okay and it is important in law enforcement and analytics for you to not focus on the p-value. I don't even do the p-value, but on z-score, statistical significance, and all that junk. It's important for you to say, this is important. If you want to read the stats, it's right over here. And here are the key recommendations. Are there any other ideas? Like, move the crew, right? Yeah, exactly, Kyle. But so what? Nobody wants to sit there and be like, Annie, did you know that the correlation coefficient is? Annie doesn't care, right?
Annie communications for a reason, okay?
Yeah,
like,
Annie cares about what, and so does the chief. The chief cares about what can we do to make it stop. Your job is to deliver the value that you deliver, tell them what they need to do based on the analysis. And a lot of analysts won't do this. A lot of analysts will not say, and here's the key recommendation. But going back to Annie's original point, you have value. You are closer to data-driven strategies than anyone in your agency. You are in it all the time. You are the value. You are the deliverer of the value. And the sooner you recognize that, the more powerful you become. That doesn't mean you're a know-it-all. It means that you can deliver with execution, like excellence. You can deliver with excellence. So Annie, we have like 1 more minute, not even. We have 30 more seconds. What's the last thing? Well, before she tells her last tip, 30-second tip. If you personally struggle with this, if this is something that you say, you know what, Dawn, I really want to grow in this arena. I want to deliver with excellence, and I'm just not sure how. Annie is taking on some clients right now where you can reach out to her and say, hey, can I hire you? And she'll do this with you until you feel 1,000% confident. So with that said, 30 seconds, what's your very last tip that you would give to all of these folks here?
So because I can go into so many different things, but here's the thing. Audrey Hepburn had said something that was super amazing, right? And Audrey Hepburn, I just saw a documentary on her, and it's amazing. Like, you never know what people go through, right? She had made a comment. Now, this is not strictly from her, but this is what I got from it. She said, there is no impossible. Impossible equals I'm possible. Remember that. Public speaking is a journey. Learning how to communicate is a journey. I can give you stats, I can give you history, but where it starts is with you and understanding that you belong there. You are important. The minute you start realizing that, the minute you're going to say, okay, it doesn't matter rank at this point. Again, respect the rank. But what matters at this point is you're in a meeting, you're in a coalition, you're in a community, and what you're adding to that community is important information to allow other people to do their jobs. Remember that.
Love it.
And can I give a really kind of fun announcement that you guys can be on the ground level and you're the only ones who know about this right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because all of you are going to be like, OMG. Okay, so I realize that a lot of times.
I don't know the OMG. How I'm past my 40s. I'm not allowed to say OMG.
Oh my God, girl. I'm going to be 90 and I'm still going to be like, OMG, right?
I love it. What you got for us?
All right, you guys. So here's something really fun because it's not fully developed yet, but I'm going to let you all know about it because this is going to be something I'm actually going to be selling to C-suites. But I want you all to know about it because I have founding member rates that are going to be amazing. I'm developing an app. And I'm developing an app so that way you can do your own self-paced. So especially because I know budgets are crazy right now and we want to make sure we're saving money. So that's why I decided I'm going to develop an app so that way you can go at your own pace. And then with what I'm developing, we might actually try and do, because I can go live once a month and you'll actually have access to me. So if you're looking at, I'm not ready for private lessons, which I'm more than happy to do because I want to see everyone succeed. But I'm also going to be doing an app soon, which I will let everyone know if you're interested. And please know, like, if you're not, that's fine. But I'm so excited about it because it's something that I can give to you all that you can go at your own pace. It's affordable, and it's something that I can say, you know what, you're worth it. I think all of you are so worth it. You're all beautiful, amazing people, handsome, beautiful, because we've got both sides of the spectrum. But yeah, so that's something else that's coming out. So definitely,
Awesome.
I have a lot of free resources. I love you all, and I would love for you, if you need help, I would love to help you.
I love it. I love it. And it really, I'm going to wrap up with this, that this week was a very special week in law enforcement analytics, thanks to Rhea Gerstenkorn and her entire Florida crew. They implemented the very first national Crime and Intelligence Analyst Appreciation Day. Did I get it all right, Rhea? And so, this is wonderful. We have this National Appreciation Day, which means that we're more and more recognized as professionals, which means we got to step up more and more to the plate, because these are the kinds of things that create professionalism, that create excellence. Public speaking and delivering your message and having confidence and knowing your value are all key components of it. And so, so a special thank you to Rhea, a special thank you to Annie for coming on here and, giving us her tips and really, giving us the opportunity to participate in some apps or private coaching. I think that that's wonderful too. And of course, October 21st, keep that on your schedules, because that is all about building confidence as a law enforcement analyst. And I want to make sure you have full access to that October 21st from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. So thank you all so much for joining us, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Annie. I know you popped off, but if you can hear me, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And